Hi, I'm Rick Rheins, Senior Rabbi at Temple Sinai in Denver, Colorado. This week's Torah portion is Tzav from chapters 6 through 8 of the book of Leviticus. It's also Shabbat Hagadol, the Sabbath right before Passover. Next Wednesday night, April 1st, begins Passover. We'll have our first Seder and the gathering of all the families together. We'll have well over 200 people here at Temple Sinai celebrating Passover with rituals that date back to the earliest days of our people, which is reflected also in this week's Torah portion. Tzav, which means commandment, from that word we get mitzvah, bar bat mitzvah, the person who has taken upon themselves all of the commandments. So Moses is told, command the children of Israel to bring the following sacrifices, the offerings that they will bring to Hamakom Asher Yivchar Adonai, to the place where God will show us one day in Jerusalem, in the temple. Immediately now, of course, the children of Israel are in the wilderness, and they'll be there for some 40 more years. And so they'll be at the Ohel HaMoed, the tent of meeting. So what are the sacrifices? What are the offerings that they're to bring? I said, well, of course, the Olah, which we talked about last week, the whole offering. And there's the Mincha, the grain offering. And there is the Chatat, or the purification offering, also sometimes called the sin offering. There's the Zebach Shlamim, the sacrifices that are the whole offering as well, that people could partake in. So all these different offerings. And as you read through this list of the sacrifices that would be either on the altar in the wilderness, in the tent of meeting, or one day in Jerusalem, you say, we haven't been able to do these things for thousands of years. And the truth is, we haven't, because we no longer have a temple. We no longer have a Ohel HaMoed. And so what's the reading of all of these rituals? And as it says in the Haggadah, Maha avodah hazot lechem. What are all of these rituals for you, lechem? Now that's the line given to the wicked son, the Rasha, but actually it's a natural question for any of us. What is the relevance of these rituals? And so it's for us to look at the ancient rituals and to find meaning, to find significance. And for us, it is to say that we, in this 21st century, still have a connection to our ancestral way. We still have a desire to connect with God, with Hashem. And of course, we no longer do so through sacrifices. Moses Maimonides, 1,000 years ago, said, well, yeah, we did sacrifices because that's what the world did. They had sacrifices. But over time, we had a different way of connecting with God, and offering not of something from our herd or our flock, or from the fruit that we grew on trees, or the grain that we grew in our fields, and bringing it in baskets to the altar and to offer it up on the altar. Those were things in the ancient world, but most of us no longer live on farms. We're no longer growing crops. We no longer are having herds and flocks. So how are we to relate this? Well, the rabbis long ago, from the Talmud on, said what we bring, not the physical offerings, we bring avodah shebalev, the offering of our heart. Yes, our prayers, but also our good deeds, how we treat one another. So if I'm relating to God with some thanksgiving offering, or I'm relating to God as an offer of chatat, of asking for forgiveness, or I'm fulfilling a pledge and I'm bringing something to God. In the old world, I would bring a basket of fruit or of whatever I was growing. But now we have to find that expression within our hearts. And we express that not just through our prayers to God, but how we treat one another. The avodah shebalev, the service of the heart, is how we look at another person and say, this person too is of God. This person too is sensitive and vulnerable and is looking for friendship, looking for support, looking for some security. What can I as a human being bring? The gimilut chasadim, acts of love and kindness. And so the sacrifices, though we no longer have them on the altars as they did in the tent of meeting or in Jerusalem, we still have offerings that make a difference in this world. And never, ever think that those offerings are less significant, because perhaps they're even more significant, because we no longer have this small world where we are in a confined place and we can come to one place to offer our service, that being Jerusalem. We're spread all over the world. So this avodah shebalev, the offering of our heart, can take place everywhere. And in this week's Torah portion has this wonderful expression. It says, Eish tamid tukad ala mizbeach lo tichbeh. Eish tamid tukad. You shall always keep a fire burning on the altar. Never let it go out. So I don't have the altar that burns the fruit or whatever on the altar that I'm offering. I'd rather have an altar in my heart to say, let me keep that fire going. Let me look to my neighbor, to my community, and say, I can make a difference. I can bring the offering of my heart. May that be a reminder that even the parts of the Torah that at first glance look antiquated still bring us some spectacular messages that are so relevant to us. And may each of you have a sweet and joyous celebration of Passover, and ask the hard questions and bring answers that are sweet and good and loving and supportive as well. Shabbat Shalom.